book dragons, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sierra and I talk about all things bookish and journaling related. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today we are going to be talking about my Kindle and my Kobo, kind of verses, but also kind of explaining what I use each for, a little tour of both. So let's get into it. So for reference, this is my Kindle Paperwhite Signature Edition. It's that gorgeous green color, and I think it was about $170 or $200. I can't remember correctly. And then this is the Kobo Clara color, and this is about $160. For some spec comparison, the Kindle is 7-inch screen. It is 32 gigabytes of storage because it is the signature edition. It has glare-free screen and adjustable light to it, and it is waterproof. The Kobo has a lot of similar features. It is instead a 6-inch screen. It has the adjustable light features. It's glare-free. It has 16 gigabytes of storage instead of the 32, but it is made with recycled plastic. So let's begin with my Kindle. These are my gorgeous stickers. I get them all from local small businesses, and I switch them out fairly frequently. And these ones are still from my 2026 refresh, so I will change them out soon, but they're so cute. When I turn on my Kindle, the screen it'll bring you to is this home screen, and it shows you books that you've currently read. Oops, I gotta scroll to the top. Books from your library that you've currently read, or books recommended for you, usually on Kindle Unlimited or other recommendations. Like if you read the first book in a series, it's going to recommend you can click here to buy the second book in the series on here. Kindle is very integrated into the Amazon ecosystem, so if you buy most of your ebooks from Amazon, then the seamless integration is going to be really helpful for you to keep it all on there. The interface is very easy to use, and syncing is pretty flawless. It doesn't need you to click anything. It loads automatically. However, mine is on airplane mode, which you guys might have noticed, and that's just because I didn't want it syncing anything while I was on this recording, and since I started writing my script, I didn't want anything changing for that, so it is on airplane mode for that right now. As far as battery life goes, I think it's pretty good. I never really compared too much, but I think I could read maybe 5 books on here before I need to charge it, but that just depends on how long the book is taking me. Sometimes I feel like I get really distracted while reading. It takes me forever. So take that with what you will, I guess. As far as things that I don't like, you are kind of locked into Amazon's ecosystem a lot, in the way that if you wanted to buy books, it is the easiest and the way that is going to get it there the quickest onto your Kindle. You could obviously use Libby or Overdrive or things like that, but I feel like for buying books, your really only option is Amazon. And I won't go into why I don't really like supporting Amazon, because that would take over this entire video. So maybe in a future video, I will tell you guys about Amazon. But that is something I don't like, because I would rather support other companies. Another thing I don't like is that homepage that I just showed you doesn't feel warm and inviting. It feels very like consumerism coded and trying to sell you every book in existence right in your face. You can scroll for hours trying to look at recommendations, and they do really hype up the books that are in Kindle Unlimited or they're making good profit out of, I think, because obviously they're all buying from Amazon. So I don't like how it feels more like a selling device sometimes rather than it's for the readers. And then if you click the middle button here, it'll auto bring you to your current read, or for me, this is under acknowledgements because I finished this read, but this is Queen of Faces. I do have mine in dark mode, so it's easier on my eyes, so it's black screen with white text. But that is how you can easily get to your current read from there. I do really like that when you go to the library, which is the third tab, it'll allow you to create folders for your different types of reads. And so it's way organized in here and making sure you can get to exactly the read you want. The little boxes next to my titles is emojis that I put in my Kindle on, like the Kindle app on my phone, and they don't show up on the Kindle. So that's what those weird little box symbols are. It's just the emojis didn't transfer over. The folders I have on my Kindle include arcs, so it's easy for me to get to and find those ones that is at the top of my list. So it's easy to find those so I can make sure I'm doing them in time for my reviews. Cozy reads, fantasy reads, Kindle Unlimited reads, because I like to, when I'm doing Kindle Unlimited, I like to focus on reading my Kindle Unlimited so I can get the most out of that subscription. And then books I'm not certain about reading. Usually these are books that I've gotten from the Stuff Your Kindle days or uh, other situations where I got free books from authors or whatever. And they're just not my speed, but I got them already, so I put them in there. And then the last one is the clippings, which is just like any highlights or comments I make throughout the books. It auto goes into its own document, and that's under uncollected because usually I add each of my books into a collection like arcs, cozy reads, etc. And so since that one I don't really have a place to put it, it's under uncollected. I will say I really like reading on my Kindle at home because I have that clicker and the thing that goes on it that senses it and it clicks, so I can easily like set up my Kindle stand and then just read in bed with the little clicker in my hand. I think that's really cozy, but it does sometimes feel really lazy. The Kindle was my first device, and I really like reading digitally, but I've always read on my phone and it hurts my eyes because I have really sensitive eyes. So I was glad to get a device that has no backlight like the Kindle does because it's really sensitive on my eyes. It doesn't hurt it at all. So I think it's really helpful to me to be able to read on a device like this. I do think reading on my Kindle is great and easy, but that is more of my at-home device, and which we're transitioning into now is my Kobo, which is more of my taking out, going outside device. Here are my Kobo stickers, and it's clearly a smaller device, so there wasn't as much room for stickers, so I'm on the hunt for like tinier stickers that I can put around, but I will find some and I will update. The Kobo is significantly smaller and lighter in my opinion, which makes it easier to just stick in my bag when I want to go out. It's really honestly not very heavy at all. When you boot it up, it feels a lot more reader-friendly interface because it is not trying to sell you anything. It just has your current reads, which you already started, and then you can click to get to your other reads that you have on your Kobo. Then there are 3 other tabs at the bottom here. The next one is My Books, which you can also click to get to through the homepage from there. But these are my books on here right now. I only have I think 11 or 12 right now because this is a new device for me, and I only uploaded my arcs on here. So I haven't tried the purchasing from Kobo yet, and I haven't really tried purchasing from Kindle except for Kindle Unlimited yet. But I'm trying to catch up on arcs, so this is what I'm bringing on the go with me. The top 4 tabs of that page up here say that you can organize it by the books, by the author, by the series, or by collections. I haven't started creating collections yet because all I have on there is arcs, but I will eventually use collections the same way I use my folders on Kindle. And then on each of these pages, there's also a filter and sort option, which I think this is just like a really good way to keep it customizable for readers for exactly how they want their pages to look. I like that not only can you sort it by the books, authors, series, collections, etc., but underneath each of those, you can then filter it by certain ones that you've tagged or whether you read it or finished it, and then you could also sort it by the date added, the title, author, series, etc., etc. I think that's really great to have on there. The Discover page, in my opinion, is a lot prettier. It'll show you recommended books and then daily deals and then what's trending. So it has some different options on there. And on that, you also have different pages. So you can go to look at audiobooks, Kobo Plus, which is like their version of Kindle Unlimited. And then it has seamless integration with Overdrive, which I think is really cool. So you can connect your Libby account and then automatically have your Overdrive books on there. And then the More tab has some cool features as well. You can have a wish list that you can click onto, like how you can on Kindle. You can make a wish list of books that you haven't bought yet but you want to read. You can sideload articles on here, and this is how you will access them. There's a thing called My Articles, which you can then read articles on the go. Activity, which I think is also a really cool feature because you can see your statistics from each book and overall. I think that's a really cool feature to add on to there. And then beta features, which we will go into in a minute here. And then settings and help, which are obvious. The only beta feature that I feel like is so worth it right now, because there is also large print mode, a sketch pad, and my words for vocabulary. I haven't used those 3. I know that they will be helpful to other readers, but not for me. But the top one is web browser, which I think is super helpful right now just because if I've been downloading ARCs, some of mine have been from BookFunnel, and I can just put that into there instead of trying to sideload it. I can go onto BookFunnel on this website and then download it onto here. I'm sure the access to the browser is also helpful for other people who maybe want to read fan fiction on AO3. Is that what it's called? I don't remember what the website's called. but I'm sure there's a lot of other reading abilities you get from being able to access the web, like the internet from there. So I'm sure a lot of people do like that feature. A lot of my other ARCs that I didn't use the website for was through NetGalley, and it is important to note that not all ARCs on NetGalley will allow you to send to Kobo. They all do usually offer send to Kindle, unless you're reading like a graphic novel or something like that, because it wants you to have color. But most books will allow you to send to Kindle, but not all books will allow you to send it to Kobo, and that's just because of their integration and their file type. They haven't set it up for that, the different publishers. But you can still download the file for the book and then change it to an EPUB to then be able to sideload it onto there. But it is a separate thing you have to do then, and you have to like connect it to a computer instead of just having it auto upload onto your Kobo. I haven't really had to deal with this interaction very much yet, but I know that Kobo supports more file types. Kindle is very specific about the file type they allow on there, kind of like iPhones are with photos and things like that. There's a specific type that iPhone photos take, and I think it's the same way with Kindle. They have a very specific file type, and so it makes it a little bit harder to sideload books. I haven't really sideloaded books. I've never needed to on my Kindle because they have such an expansive library. So I've never had to like connect it to a computer to get a book onto there. But I am happy that I have the Kobo that I can do that when I'm ready to start sideloading books. It is a whole ordeal. I feel like it is easier when you're able to already get it on the device, like through the Kobo shop or the Amazon shop. But I am interested in downloading some. Another big plus for the Kobo is obviously that it is the color version. I've never had a Kindle Color Soft, so I don't really know how that one works for me, but I was really worried getting a color device that it would hurt my eyes the same way. I would say that it doesn't hurt my eyes either, just like the Kindle. It's very gentle, so it doesn't like pop out at you. I feel like it does really well with the colors, that it's like a subtle integration without being like hurting your eyes. I also do like that when you close it, it doesn't just show you the cover of the book, but it also tells you like it's sleeping or powered off depending on which one you did, and then also how much percentage into the book you are and how many hours are left in said book. It is a bit of a difficult transition for me since I'm used to Amazon's like wide expansive library of books you can choose from, but I do really like that it's more reader focused and less consumerism heavy. It just makes me happier to load up. The interface feels like cleaner and prettier for me, so I'm happier to open up my Kobo on the go. Let's do a quick side-by-side comparison. If you like buying a lot of books without having to sideload and connect it to a computer, then Kindle is probably for you because it has such a massive library of books. But if you like downloading library books or ARCs or other file types, including articles, I think Kobo is for you because it is the most integrated that you can do that without having it like kick back, you need a different file type. For the question, which do I enjoy more? Honestly, they both have their uses for me. Like I said, this is more of my at-home device and this is more of my on-the-go device. The size is just so much different, especially because I keep this in a bigger like pouch case. This one I can just literally bring like this, or I have another case that covers the front of it, so I can put this on as well. Either way, I think this is like a different experience. So sometimes I still do use it at home because I'm just enjoying the style of it and the feel of it. I think they're both good devices, and I am happy I have both for their uses. If I could only pick one, I would choose my Kobo because it does feel more authentic to the reading experience. And I also just don't want to support Amazon, so I think this would be the one I would go with. And there are my reviews and tours of my Kindle and Kobo. Do you have either of these devices, or did this help you pick one? Let me know down in the comments whether you're Team Kindle or Team Kobo. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more bookish content. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy reading!